I was, you would have been proud of me. I was out walking and I had the phone just like in what I'm starting to realize are the old days, over 5 years ago, because I had a YouTube channel. A couple of them were aborted early due to religious interference. The Pharisees were everywhere out in those days. But I was out earlier, just like in the old days, walking with the phone and just talking. Okay, so I was earlier, worrying whether my life alert bill was paid. I've fallen. I can't get up. It's pretty pathetic. It'll happen to you too, really quick, if the Lord tarries. That's, but I don't, all these folks having rapture dreams and visions, and they're a lot younger than I am. I don't think they're, I don't think they're trying to escape life. I really do think the table is set. But the only kind of thing I would, and I'm not telling anybody what to do because everybody's got their own will. It's a war of wills out there amongst humans, and then you get the larger picture. You have God and His will, which is pretty simple, that all men come to saving knowledge, and the adversary, who's, well, he's tough to figure out because he's crazy, and crazy intelligent too in a lot of ways. And what he does, I think, the adversary, and I don't like to dwell on him too much because he's, every party has a pooper. he wants company, and he deceives people into thinking that they have to be ready for the rapture and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, I figure, well, maybe they just haven't read the Word enough or don't understand. We're in an age of grace, because these things have to, I think you have to really, it took me a lot of years reading Romans chapter 7 and 8 back to back over and over and over and over and over again until you finally come to the conclusion that, hey, I'm kind of up against it, aren't I? I'm going against two spirits here because the law is holy, righteous, and good, and it'll kill you. It's a killer because it's God's laws. I mean, it's not like Charles Dickens said the law is an ass. Well, yeah, man's laws are really ridiculous because all men are liars. But this is something that's not going to be moved, the Ten Commandments. All right? It's either going to put you to death here and you can turn to the Spirit, because they're both from God. The law is from God, came through Moses. Jesus Christ is from God. Truth and grace came into the world with Jesus Christ. So they're both spiritual elements. Even though one was written in stone, it still had glory upon it. When Moses came down from the hill, he had to keep the face veiled. So that which is, had glory on it, how much more glorious is when God shows up in the flesh, because God is a three-part being, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But the thing is, with I just figure, well, maybe they haven't gotten it yet, because it has to sort of be driven into our meatheads over years. There's really nothing you can do. It's already been done. It's already been written. The end of the book has already been written. The end of our story here in Earth is, we're seeing ahead to the next few ages. It's not always going to remain the same. And but the enemy is so clever in the way that he's taking something, who've been freely justified, and twists your noodle into thinking that something isn't complete. No, the sins have been buried, and God is not imputing sins against man. But if he can get you just to start thinking that maybe it's not, well, then Jesus isn't increasing and you're not decreasing, because that's the formula. He must increase and I must decrease. You must start to become aware over a lifetime that your power and might is not in your own strengths. Those can sometimes be a hindrance. It's the joy of the Lord is your strength, and learning of Him. So, but you're not going to do that if you think there's something wrong with you. Then you're not even going to be. Then you're not even going to be talking to Him. Look, He knows everything. He doesn't make mistakes. It's part of the office. Okay, of either Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They're working in union, and they've got everything wired. They're above all, in all, and through all. And if somebody doesn't come to realize that, yeah, they're going to be separated from God. But it's you get a lot of people walking around with the confusion of mind, not so much what they're doing in their flesh, because you're doing the same thing, whether you realize it or not. You are. That's another big deception. So that's what I was thinking about out on a walk, and I just want to try to get people to relax about all this stuff. Good to be looking for Him. Could happen today. You could have your last breath today, and you'd be in a rapturous delight, face to face before the Lord, knowing fully, even as you're fully known. You'd be safe and away in heaven, away from. I shouldn't say this. I just was. You'll be safe away from the quivering meat conception. That was a Jack Kerouac thing. He was inducted into some literary Hall of Fame or whatever a few years back, and I was reading this poem, "The wheel of the quivering meat conception turns in the void, expelling human beings, pigs, turtles, frogs, insects, nits, mice, lice, lizards, rats, roan racing horses, pox of bubonic pig ticks, horrible unnameable lice of vultures, murderous attacking dog armies of Africa, rhinos roaming in the jungle." It goes on with more of this until it gets to the end. He's poor. I wish I was free of that slaving meat wheel and safe in heaven dead. Yeah, it is what it is. Or you could put it, so I mean, I'm nuts, and so are you. And he knows it. Just, he's waiting now with open arms. Just, believe what he did and relax and, let him live through you. But, retain your personality and your ability to function in the world and not be so afraid. See, the adversary just wants to get you fearful. You become ineffective, I think, at that point. You're really of no use to anybody. You're kind of like, you're always thinking God's going to smote you, and you're not talking about how loving He is. Because look, He's God. Do you really want to spend eternity with somebody you don't really even like? No, of course not. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Be well.